Next up is East St. Louis track and field coach Nino Fennoy. A championship-winning mentor, father figure, and friend to his athletes over his 44 years and counting, and he's been coached for so long. Nino will be interviewed by Todd Eschman.
Well, Coach, welcome to the Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Todd.
Well, I had to write this down because it's too much to remember. 26 top 3 finishes in the state, 17 state championships, including titles from 1982 to 1990. That's a pretty incredible resume.
Sounds good to me.
There's got to be something more than something special in the water in East St. Louis. How much of that is you, and how much is the talent that you inherited?
Tweety? Okay, all right. That's a loaded question. It's almost like the chicken or the egg. But I think that the true answer is, in all communities, there are individuals that can be winners in life. So if I can surround myself with coaches and have the support of parents, and of course the support of the family that I've been blessed to be with, then the winners will come. This is 44 years. So the specialness about East St. Louis is the tradition of being winners in life and then overcoming the challenges. But I think that all communities, as we're honoring individuals here today, have winners in their community. It's the work that has to be done.
Great point. So many of the names of your champions are known. In fact, Jackie's been mentioned a couple times already tonight. Dawn Harper is also someone you mentored. But there's so many others I know that you influenced who are either champions or maybe people who just filled a role on your team. What do you teach as part of your daily coaching that goes beyond championship teaching in terms of performance on the track and just goes into life? The reason I ask is I saw one quote in your bio said somebody looked at you as a father figure. So clearly you influence something much more than athletic performance.
Well, winning in life. For me, just looking back and thinking about what my entrance into sports was. So, I love baseball. I played a little basketball at SIUE, but I ended up coaching track and field. So if you can use the love of the sports that I was blessed to have as a youngster as part of the philosophy. So that's saying that you have to love what you do and then do what you love. The parents that I was blessed to have and the brothers and sisters were all competitive. So that becomes a part of the coaching philosophy to be competitive, to want to be number one, to be the top. Now, I wasn't the top in the classroom, but I did have 2 sisters and a brother, and 2 brothers that were outstanding students. I always wanted to have fun in sports. And if we can continue to allow young people to have fun in sports, the winning will take care of itself. That's the onus of me to stay abreast of everything that's happening in this thing called track and field, quote, and cross country. So it's the love, it's the discipline, the determination, the desire. We called Jackie's name 4 or 5 times, and I would be remiss if I didn't say this right now. I've alluded to my family, but I have a great family. Family, just raise your hand so I can do that real quick. They're just fantastic, great family, and very supportive. And I saw where Midwest Bank Center was supporting this event, and my son is the is the Vice President of Community Lending, Mr. Alex Fennoy, with Midwest Bank Center. Alex and his wife, Denise. And of course, his mom, Tony. Raise your hand, Tony. All right, thank you. But let me say about Jackie. You asked a good question, then we'll go to the next question. I'm in coaching 44 years, not because Jackie was the #1 runner when she was 9 years old. It was because Jackie Joyner Kersey wanted to do track and field. She wanted to be #1. And what she came with every day is the smile and the determination and the discipline to become #1. So again, if we can include that in the coaching philosophy, to be able to identify those young people that come to us with a smile on their face, who just want us to be able to do a better job of working with them.
I think track and field and cross country especially, probably as much, if not more than any sport, involves, and you've used a word over and over, discipline, competitiveness, determination. Those things have to go into just the training to make yourself better and stronger, because it's not hitting the baseball, it's not shooting free throws, it's time on the track, it's time conditioning. So we know what it takes to be a great champion, and we all know the names of your best champions. Is there any one athlete that you've had over the course of your 44 years that stands out, maybe not because you're a champion, but because of what they gave of themselves during training?
It is. It's amazing that you asked that. Alicia Reeves, stand up. Stand up, Alicia. Because he's kind of short. I want to make sure you saw it. The story behind Alicia. And with every team, you have to have your role players. Every team that's successful, you identify the leaders, but you have to have your role players. In high school, on a basketball team, if you have a couple of guys that are the elite, but you have to have your role players to get the job done. Baseball team, get 5 people, a pitcher and a catcher, first baseman, work from there. With Ms. Reeves, she is now a practicing attorney. She's a national renowned motivator. And for 3 years, she was one of our sprinter hurdlers, and 2 years on the 4x1, she was our third leg. And it was so important that she did her job for that, quote, 4x1 to be successful. We had Carmelita Williams, that name some people may remember, was the first female to win 100, 200, and 400, 1987, 1988, and then the 200 in 1989. So Leisha was that individual that embraced the winning in life philosophy of, I want to be on this team, I'm going to train honestly, I may not qualify in the 100 or the 200, but I can get the job done in the 4x1, which is the race that she ran at the state meet 2 years in a row. And the rest is history, because now she has her own, she's married, Mr. Farouk and Farouk, okay, they're married, and he has his business, a heating electrical HVAC system, and then she's a legal attorney, and they just go on, and they give back through the Jackie Joyner Kersey Foundation. Alicia was the executive director for 7 years? For 7 years. And her story is a connected story. 1988, Jackie impacted Alicia's life by taking 108 East St. Louis students to New York for the first time. And what Jackie didn't know was that's the first time I went to New York. That was my first trip to New York. So she always has impacted my life. Those are the kinds of stories, when you hear about the winning teams of East St. Louis and you hear about the individuals that may be first place, but it's a family affair and it goes across all 18 events. And the most important thing for each one of them is to feel that they are important.
And I have to tell you, as I researched your career, Coach, to be able to do this tonight, that is a consistent theme through everything that I've read and looked at. And if you'll indulge me, there's one story that really stood out to me, a story that ran in the News Democrat about 2 years ago. At Clark Mason Middle School, they have about 800 students, and they had a cross-country program of about 130 kids signed up. That's a bigger cross-country team than the biggest high school in the state of Illinois.
And my high school.
And you're, yeah. So when I talked to Coach Branch, who was in charge of that at the time, and I asked him, I said, well, what is a success, and how do you get these kids to come out here like this? And I think probably his standards aren't maybe as high as the biggest high school in the state of Illinois, but he said, you know, it's not all about winning championships. It's the next time you come out to be a little bit faster, to be a little bit stronger, to get better day by day. But the way he concluded it is he said, I just want to give to these kids what Coach Fennoy gave to me. So there is a very cyclical process that goes into East St. Louis, and I don't think it's a coincidence that you have 17 state championships.
I would agree. I would definitely agree. And at no point in time is there any success in any program that does not benefit from the feeder programs. We had a tremendous system in East St. Louis of elementary schools. We had 36 elementary schools at one time that fed into 4, and it fed into 5 junior high schools that trained at a very high level. Coach Branch has been on my staff for 10 years, and Coach Branch took on the responsibility of going back to Clark Middle School and then working with the cross-country team. Cross-country, when young people hear cross-country, especially teenagers in high school, the first thing they think about is actually going out and running through the pastures and over fences and so forth. And what Coach Branch was able to do was just meet them at a point where they wanted to participate. So programs, you know, Duke is not successful year after year, or North Carolina or UCLA. No program is successful if you don't have great coaches, a buy-in by supporters, and then someone who is continuously out in the field that's identifying individuals that want to participate. Notre Dame has done it for years. It's Clemson, Alabama. East St. Louis is the same way. We train hard. We have individuals in the community who identify talent, and we, as Coach Branch has done, met young people and said, just come out and give it a try. Our middle schools are 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. So if you think about kids, what we do as adults all the time is tell young people, stop running through the house, stop jumping on that bed, and if you throw something in here. So what we try to do through the Winning in Life philosophy is have a forum where they can just run, jump, and throw and have fun.
Well, you certainly can't argue with that by the success. So congratulations, Coach. Hall of Famer Nino Fennoy.
Let me wrap it up by saying I really appreciate being selected as part of this 2020 class. And I was here last year for the induction ceremonies of 19 class. And because of my high school association, you know, to me it's just having fun as coaches, but I really would like to salute those individuals. Jerome Evans, I'm saying Jerome's name because I remember Jerome as a little guy, and now he's a big guy.
Welcome to the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame.
Mr. Rodman.
We need to go.
Well, you know, I'm going. I know Tweety, but Charles Rodman. Where's Charles? Charles Rodman. That's my guy. You know, you want to build a relationship. Charles Rodman was at Beverly West, and he's was a great volleyball coach. So I know our philosophies because we communicate all the time about how we can service young people to the best of our abilities. So I'd like to salute the individuals that I know that I work with, but to all who are coming into 2020, 2020 class. And again, thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Congratulations.